Hello, Namaste everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about Venus in Shravana Nakshatra. Before we move ahead, if you guys are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates. Also, for your personal readings, you can check out the link in the description box www.anmollastrology.com. Under the readings and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the courses section, you can sign up for online course, right? So I might be taking the last batch for the foundational course till October because I'm planning to bring something new in case of courses very, very soon. Okay, so let's talk about Venus being in the Shravana Nakshatra. Before we understand what Venus is in Shravana Nakshatra, we need to know what Venus is. What is the significance of Venus? What will it represent in the context of this video? What does Venus do in the sign of Capricorn? What is the significance of Venus being in the sign of Capricorn? And lastly, covering the factors of the Shravana Nakshatra. Okay, so very first thing, Venus is the natural significator of our second and our seventh house. Second house represents the lifestyle, the communication, not like communication, but our vocal cord, what we speak, how we speak. Second house is our relationship with the family, our income, where the money comes from, what do we possess, what do we like to collect, what do we value, because second house is the house of traditions and one's values. What values do we get from the family, what wealth do we accumulate from the family and we make for our own selves. That is the second house. What do we eat, how do we, what is our habits, that is what Venus represents because of the influence of the second house. Now, the seventh house. Seventh house represents the sign of Libra. So, Venus also represents our devotion, our ability to balance relationship or any sort of relationship in our life. How do we perceive other people? How do we connect with people? What kind of people do we, attract towards us? That is Venus. How do we act when we are in love, we are in partnership, we are in romance? That is what Venus is about. That's why Venus becomes a very, very important planet in both of these scenarios and both of these areas. So Venus, on the other hand, is the planet of luxury, creativity, artistic element, the ability to spend, the ability for you to lead what kind of lifestyle would you want in life, what kind of lifestyle would you like to lead in life. That is Venus. Venus is your voice, your vocal cord, the impact that you bring in with your communication and with your association with others, right? So Venus is the planet which is responsible for your spirituality as well, and also your understanding of how this world works, how the survival thing in the world works. Now your Venus is coming into the sign of Capricorn. When Venus enters the sign of Capricorn, so there's a logic which we generally use that Saturn is the friend of Venus, so it is going to do good in those zodiac signs. But I always tell everyone, do not go on this basis that Venus is in the sign of Saturn, so it is going to be in a very, very healthy space. It's a very good Venus. It's never like that. It's always based on the element of the zodiac sign, which will tell you how a planet is going to react. So Venus, being a planet mix of elements between earth and water, it does well in the earth signs in bringing in stability in life. But does it mean that people with Venus in the sign of Capricorn are going to have a very, very stable marriage life? Absolutely not. Whenever astrology talks about stability, it means that first things are unstable, things are disbalanced. Only after that it comes to balance. That's what the story connects. So, Venus in the sign of Capricorn means that your perspective towards love, your association in love and romance gets restricted, gets in a boundary. You're not a person who is easily pleased, first of all, when it's about love, when it's about associations. Why you are not easily pleased? Because over a period of time, over some ages, in a very, very early age in your life, you did experience a lot of criticism and distance from females or from your counterpart, from your opposite sex. That basically developed in fears within you, because of which you understood what is the importance of putting on boundaries in your surroundings, putting on boundaries when it is about your association in love. Right. So Venus in the sign of Capricorn makes you workaholic. It makes you hardworking. It makes you work hard towards relationship and towards romantically fantasizing and expressing in love. Right? Your karma is to be dedicated, devoted towards your service when it comes to the matters of love. So, love will not be easy for you. Rather, love will be something which will test your patience, which will tell you which will actually make you a very hardworking person with the element of love. So, love comes to you only when you prove that I am worthy of love. That's what karma is associated with a person with Venus in Capricorn, right? Also, these people are status oriented. They always would like to have a partner who can add on to their growth. So, these are not the people who are going to follow the traditional mindset that my partner should be a home wife, my partner should be housewife, my partner should not at all go out. Like, even if you are a female, you would not desire your partner is someone who is not at all active, who is not at all out there earning good. You would always desire a person who can add on to your growth, add on to your profession, add on to your finances. And somehow, for some people, for a very few portion of people with Venus in the sign of Capricorn, you either meet your partner through work or society, or somehow you guys connect each other with work, as in you guys can start work together, guys can start a business together, or anything together, right? So Venus in the sign of Capricorn does gives fears of criticism, of getting hurt. And let me tell you, these are the softest people that you will see when it is about relationships and love. They try to protect their energy of love and relationships because they do not like to be hurt. They do not like to get disappointed. Okay. Now, we are going to talk about Venus being in the nakshatra of Shravana. Let me tell you, whatever I'm going to discuss now is going to be related the traits of your spouse, the way you interact in love. If your ascendant lord is Venus, if your Atmakarka is Venus, it would resonate with you yourself as well. Otherwise, these are the predictions of your marriage life, your married partner, and your association with marriage or with relationship. Okay. Now, Shravana Nakshatra falls 10 degrees to 23 degrees, 20 minutes of the sign of Capricorn. Now, just understand, we have the energy of, before that, Shravana Nakshatra is ruled by the planet Moon. Now we have the energy of Venus being in the sign of Saturn and being in the nakshatra of Moon. So a combination of Venus, Saturn, Moon, right? Such a pressurizing combination it is. Such a beautiful yet restrictive combination it is. First of all, what it shows is because of the energy of Moon combining with Saturn and Venus, these people are quite determined. These people are determined and they are always goal oriented. These are not the individuals who are going to just pass their time when it comes to relationships, when it comes to their goals. Even your spouse is going to be one of the individuals who is going to have a certain focus and goal in their life. So they are goal oriented. They always feel responsible for their surroundings. When you are in love, you would feel that you have a responsibility to accomplish. Your partner would feel that I have some responsibilities to accomplish. Naturally, because of the presence of moon as the ruling planet here, people with Venus in the nakshatra of moon become quite pure and pious when it comes to their association with love. Even you attract partners who themselves are naive, emotional, emotionally sensitive, and also very very unpredictable in nature when it comes to emotions. That's because of the presence of moon. Now, since we are talking about moon doesn't always have the good sides, the good nourishing side. Most of all, whenever we think of moon, we think of one's emotions. We think of that we think of purity, right? We think of uh, something very positive. But remember, moon was the soma. Moon was the planet who actually kidnapped 27 wives, 27 girls, and made them his wife. Moon also has a side which is quite stubborn, quite much of, in the ability to possess, right? So these individuals, or whenever you are in love, you would want to possess the other person either by manipulation or by just being too emotional and too clingy on them, right? So, regardless of the fact that Venus is in the sign of Capricorn, once you set your target on an individual that, yes, this is the person I need, this is the person I want, you are going to focus on getting them, on going into their good books. Another thing that you will see because of the presence of moon, while I'm talking about Shravana, in the back of my mind, the Narsimha movie is somehow going on. I am all the time getting in the, the features, the face of Prahlad, what they portrayed it, right? In the Narsimha movie, in the animation movie, they actually made what kind of appearance of Prahlad. He had a round face, round and a little bit broadness this side, round eyes, round lips, such a beautiful, naive, such an innocent face. That's what is going to be appearance of your partner. That is what is going to be the appearance of your husband or your wife. They are going to be cute, innocent, round face, round eyes, even roundness with the nose, and plumpy and round lips. Since there is an influence of moon, there is going to be secrecy. These are the people who hold on to the secrets. Just like Prahlad, who held on to the secret that he wished, he believed in Vishnu. For some period of time, he did keep it as a secret from his father, who was the enemy of Vishnu, who did not like Vishnu at all, and had the wish to somehow defeat Vishnu and become the god of that particular region, right? So that's what this nakshatra associates itself with. Now, apart from this, there is what we call as the symbol. So the symbol of this nakshatra is the 3 steps, right? And the next one is the ear and the trident. So, first of all, the trident. So, trident is the trishul. The trishul that we do see Mahadev or Lord Shiva holding, that basically symbolizes the power of a royal communication in a way. It is the power, it is the dependability, it's the hold that is there with that weapon. It can be used as a weapon, and sometimes it is also used as a symbol of royalty. That's what you're going to see in these nakshatras. When Venus is there in this nakshatra, you can use your innocence as your weapon and also as your strength. So when Venus is in the Shravana Nakshatra, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to hold on to the dear ones, to the one you love, you can make your innocence as your weapon. You can make your innocence and your honesty as your strength. That's what this symbol represents. And similarly, you would see that it is always advised for the people with Venus in Shravana Nakshatra that their spouses should always seek the path of truth and honesty. That would be their strength. And even for you, that is going to be your strength when it comes to relationships. Although the fear that attaches with the sign of Capricorn instigates you or forces you to actually go beyond this trait. That's why it acts as a remedy to follow the path of honesty and brutally honest, or I won't say brutality, because they are very innocent. There's innocence, there is innocent honesty attached to this nakshatra. So it is referred that you should always choose that path, because that is going to act as your strength, regardless of even if you are fearful about it, right? The second thing is the ear. The ear basically represents the power of listening and learning. That's why whenever Venus is in Shravana Nakshatra, that means that either you or your partner could be from the profession which can be related to the ear. Like it can be related to technology, it can be related to maybe earrings, it can be related to ENT, ear, nose, throat specialist, or it can even be related to healing or counseling, anything which requires a person to listen, to hear, or to lend a support to another person. So one thing you will see, and this is something I always tell whenever a person has a question from me and they have the presence of Shravana, I always tell them to go ask for guidance from the person who is the living significance of the planet in which your Shravana is. So if a person has Venus in Shravana, you must listen to the guidance of your spouse, of your partner. Your partner is going to guide you beautifully, because they would always lend you that ear to listen, to be heard, to be supportive, right? Another thing which it also associates with, if Venus is in Shravana, and also there are certain other aspects like Ketu is there, or maybe some other planet is influencing it, Rahu is influencing, Saturn is influencing, it becomes very important for you to be attentive of what you're hearing. You should properly hear, otherwise you miss on words and you go for misinterpretation. So it can lead to misunderstandings within your relationships, specifically while being Venus as the planet which is in the nakshatra of Shravana. Now the third one, and also they are the excellent counselors. So even you, if you want to know what professions you can go into, either it should be associated with numbers, calculations, as a mathematician, calculative person, or it could be related to a healer, a psychologist, a person who deals with the technology, especially communication devices, right? And apart from this, land and real estate as well. Now, because of land and real estate, we come to our last symbol, which is the three steps. So there is a mythology associated with this, and also with the deity. The deity of this nakshatra is Vamana. And the story of the three steps is also attached here. So what happened was that Vamana was born to Aditi, and he was born as incarnation of Lord Vishnu, so as to, you know, defeat Mahabali or teach him a lesson. So Vamana, in his dwarf Brahmin avatar, went to Mahabali and asked him that I want three steps of land. Now, Mahabali thought that he is such a like small human being, right? He's dwarf. So how much steps he would take? He would just take three steps and a little amount of land will be his. But Shukracharya, being the Acharya of this Mahabali, he did try to stop Mahabali from giving him that three steps of land. But he was like that, I cannot discard the wishes of a Brahmin child. I have to accomplish that. Even Shukracharya, being Shukracharya, the guru of the Asuras, tried to actually block the pipe of the pot from which that tathastu water has to come out, right? The water that they pour while giving giving a blessing or giving something to another person, right? So he did block that, but Vamana was clever and he used a kusha, grass, and it was very, and made it very sharp and poked into that pipe, because of which the water did flow. And as soon as it happened, Mahabali gave that varadan to that dwarf Brahmin that you can take this three steps of land from me. Then he grew into a giant human being and he took his two steps, in which he covered all the Swargalok, earth, and the Patal And now Mahabali saw that this was the greatest Vishnu. He was basically stunned by this event, that what has happened. So now the third step was still left. What happened that Vamana asked Mahabali that where should I take my third step, because I've completed the whole land, what more you can give me? Then Mahabali said that take my head as the third step. And listening to this, he did take the third step and gave him the blessings that I'm going to make you the Indra in the next, next coming time period. I'm going to make you the Indra, and you can come and visit your devotees, your praja every year at a certain time, which is considered as the festival of Onam, which is celebrated in the South most prominently. I remember back home, like in my in my family side, like before marriage, I used to live at a place where there was Ayappa Mandir, and I saw that how beautifully they used to celebrate Onam in that Ayappa Mandir, because that was the mandir of the South Indians, and specifically originated from Kerala. I genuinely don't know the backstory of that mandir, but I remember being very, very small and always planning to go to that Ayappa Mandir to, see how they celebrate Onam. So Onam is basically when Mahabali visited, back to their devotees. There, that is considered as a very fruitful time for them, right? And it always happens when sun is in the Leo Rashi, and at the same time moon transits the Shravana Nakshatra. So whenever this time falls together, then Onam is celebrated, which most probably happens between 16th of August till 16th of September. Okay, so that's the story that we have with the three steps of land and the deity Varuna. So since there was three steps of lands, that's why these people, or you, how do you recognize who your spouse is going to be? He or she is going to have a theme of three. Maybe they are three siblings, maybe they have three properties, maybe they have changed three professions associated on where your Venus is placed. It would depend what is the three theme, what is the thrice theme that is happening. And same way, since you have your Venus in this nakshatra of the theme of the three steps, you would see that you are going to go through three relationships before you end up with your spouse. And most probably, either the third relationship is going to be with your spouse, or the fourth relationship. After three failed relationship, it would come around, or the third relationship is going to be the one which is going to actually be with your destined partner. So there's a theme associated of three. Sometimes these people also become a, you know, a person who is involved into a triangle, love triangle. So sometimes that is also what happens. But remember one thing, because of this mythological story of Varuna, this could also mean that with a person with Venus in the Shravana Nakshatra, they can have a tendency to lure someone else's partner. That's why there is a theme of the three love triangle, because since they took, Varuna took the three steps, the leaps and bound to reach, you know the highest position, where he occupied all the land present in the universe. Similarly, these people have a tendency to either lure someone else's partner, or they have a tendency to reach at the top of their profession, you by you know by putting someone else down, but with their innocence, without even being accused for that, if your Venus is not afflicted. And similar theme could happen in the life of your partner or your spouse as well. Your spouse would act so innocent, but they would be manipulative and clever at the same time. If this Venus is unafflicted, they would use this innocence in a positive way. If it is afflicted in a wrong way, like being afflicted with Mars, being afflicted with Rahu, then they can take the negative benefit of their innocence to either reach on top, or to lure someone else. Right? Similarly, since Mahabali was told by Shukracharya that you should not give, he was warned that you should not give this dwarf pandit, sorry, dwarf Brahmin child anything as a vardhan. And for that, he even get poked by the kusha grass in his eye. He injured his eye. This could also mean that these people they are constantly be told by their wife or their husband to not do something out of innocence, out of merely innocence of or their stubbornness, but still they do that. Still they will have the tendency to follow or to rebel against what they are told not to do. So that's why they are always suggested with Venus and Shravana that you should listen to your spouse, you should listen to your partner, so as to get success and avoid any mistakes. But definitely at least one mistake is bound to happen from you, which is going to cost you. Okay, so that's about the mythology. Now, the last factor is the animal associated with this nakshatra, which is the monkey. Similar to Purva Ashad, This particular nakshatra also is ruled by, it represents the animal as monkey. So a monkey is seen to hop from one branch to the other. Similarly, these people have a habit of jumping from one decision to the other till the time they reach that maturity to understand what they actually want in their life. So, definitely, they can hop from one relationship to the another till the time they actually understand what do they desire in relationships, which happens over a period of time. 24th year becomes a very important year for them in terms of relationships. I would say 24th year, right? And then we have, let me see, 34th year as well. So 24th and 34th years are the one which are going to be prominent in case of relationships for them, and of course a lesson through relationships as well. Regardless of this, these people always have their own comfort zone, and they are always inclined towards having comforts within their life. They earn comforts for themselves, they earn luxury for themselves, and they become or go to at a position where they will always be the ones who have everything, who are abundant of the luxury, abundant of the comforts, and abundant of success, right? Then, because of the presence of monkey, there can be, multiple travels or multiple shift of residence which could even happen. There could be 3 states they have changed, 3 houses they have changed, or 3 countries that they have changed before they actually settle down. Because of monkey, the indecisiveness is there, the ability to snatch something from the other person is there, right? So all the associations with the animal monkey are there. They love to mimic, they love to act upon, and they have a very good sense of humor. They also have the ability to make the person feel comfortable in their surroundings. So they are very smart in showing their innocence and being very welcoming when it comes to other individuals. And I think I have also mentioned the fact with numbers, because Shravana is a very, very important nakshatra associated with numbers and with communication technology. And why I'm telling in this video, because Venus is associated with one's career and one's income source. So that's why these factors are to be considered to choose the profession as well. Okay, guys. So I think that was all. That is all I had for Shravana Nakshatra. If your Venus is in Shravana, right? So I hope this helps. We'll see you next time with another Nakshatra. I think now is the turn for Venus in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Okay. So we'll, yeah, one more thing. This Nakshatra is also associated with Ma Saraswati. And wherever Ma Saraswati gets connected, we know that these people do have the wealth of knowledge, the wealth of wisdom. That is also which is associated with this particular nakshatra. And because of the association of wisdom, this nakshatra also has the association of Brihaspati, Jupiter. Okay. So yeah, always listen to your spouses, listen to your partners. That would do something very good with you. Okay, so take care. We'll see you with the next video. Bye bye. Take care.